In this video, we take an FP1 and FP3 file set that you may have processed from your F-POD or downloaded from the Figshare website, and we load them into the F-POD app. We open a file set of 1 FP1 and 3 FP3s. It doesn't matter whether we select the FP1 or the FP3, the software will find all the associated files and load them for us. We load the whole file set from the start. In the bottom window there in the raw data we can see a title pattern coming through. In the next window we can see some orange dolphin detections and some purple porpoise detections coming through. One way to zoom in is to click directly on the timescale. So we go to 20 milliseconds here and show from start. We'll see the same panels but we're zoomed right in. So using the show next screen, we can look at a click train in detail, and I can use the F5 function key to change the scale on the side. This has the effect of making the image in the panel seem bigger. F6 has the opposite effect and makes the image seem smaller. This works on each panel individually, so I can move up to the next panel and do the same thing in just that panel. It also works on the top on the click train panel. I can make the image seem bigger and I can make the image seem smaller. The other keystroke I use a lot are the up and down arrows on the keyboard. These zoom the whole screen in and out so I can see several minutes at a time. Another popular one is the F4, which bypasses filters, so in this screen I can see a green low quality filter that wasn't there before. So moving on, here's an interesting looking porpoise detection. One thing we can do is select this file for action and actually play back this file so we can hear the click rate. Now, if there is anything in particular we're looking for, we can actually mark individual click trains within the software and then change the filters so that we can either look for included trains, excluded trains, or in this case, we want to look at marked trains only. We can then skip through and look only at the trains that we've found to be interesting. So here's another one that looked interesting to us. If we zoom in and recenter, we can see that we've got some interesting patterns there and we can play them back. We can see that the click rate varies and also the amplitude varies, but at different times. In this screen we can see a 69 kHz fish tag, which is transmitted by the fish tag used on the Fish Intel project. Here we're getting into some dolphin activity. We can see that from the orange classification there. If I hit F4, we can see there's a lot more going on that we can actually see. So we'll move through this one and look down the bottom there in the raw data. We can see there's a lot more noise than the classification algorithm picked out. These are all the reflections and refractions and other sounds in the water that the dolphins can hear but don't actually make themselves. This is one of the clever things the F-POD does to select the actual sounds made by the animal rather than the ambient noise. Moving on to this screen, another marked train is some interesting dolphin communication. Now this may be social, it may be feeding, we really don't know. We're starting some studies and are taking on a PhD student to look at some of these communication calls. So that one was a porpoise communication call. We're getting to the end of the file now. There's no more clicks in there, but one more thing to show you is Control Z. Like most software, it will step back through all your previous clicks. So, to summarize, we opened a file set, we changed the timescale, we zoomed in and out using the up and down arrows, we used F5 and F6 to change the parameter scales, we used F4 to bypass the filters, we played back some click trains, we used the left and right arrows on the timeline, we saw fish tags and social calls. All of the data we gather on the CATT project is open sourced at the Figshare Plus website. The chelonia.co.uk has the F-POD exe app that we use to analyse the data.